Hello everyone out there, this is Spoke777 here on YouTube, and today I want to talk about some of the videos that were made about me. One of them has to do with the idea that it has something around the Joseph Bates quote that Bengali put in his video has to be a double talk. He didn't finish the paragraph, and LeBron and both of them, and their whole quote, actually the quote defeats their own purpose. And common, especially when he said, I use being in a common usage. Well, that's because it's common usage, and that's more than likely what he was talking about. Statistically, more likely. Now, for Bengali and Labaram, I do have a math question, since I like to figure out stuff. If you have 20 feet of fencing and you want to build a enclosed area next to a river, and one side there's not going to be any fencing, what are the dimensions of that square or rectangle or whatever that will give you the maximum amount of volume? If anyone's taking pre-calc, you should know how to do this. Well, I just thought I'd throw that in there as a brain teaser to anybody out there. Alright. God and Jesus. That was the most confusing part about God that I've ever encountered growing up. American Dad, okay, some people probably found this show very sacrilegious, but they showed that God and Jesus, two separate persons, and along with Gandhi and everybody else was staying to heaven. And did the same thing with the Rapture of the Light episode, which I thought was kind of interesting, but I thought how sad that everybody bases their theology off of that and actually believes in the secret rapture, even though this is actually a really different view of the secret rapture, where everybody's just naked persons floating up in the sky where everybody sees it. Well, it's a little bit more accurate. Everybody's going to see it, but at the second coming of Christ, everybody's going to know because God has nothing to hide to take people with him. Now back to the other subject. Is God and Jesus the same person? No. Who spoke at the Jordan River saying, "This is my beloved Son, please"? And Satan tried to get Jesus to doubt who he was. He said, "If you are the Son of God," he didn't say, "If you are God." So we're not the same person, the same being or whatever. But that makes me polytheist according to some people. But you gotta go back. What makes us different? We worship one God, Father, Allah, as I was going to say. But yet the idea of God having a son seems beyond some people's comprehension. That's the mystery of God. If there's only one person, God doesn't have love to give to anybody, because how can he? Who's going to verify his claims of anything? Who's going to say, well, yes, I testify to him for what he is? Well, who's going to do that? So I don't believe that God and Jesus are the same person. I believe that they're two separate persons, two separate beings, or whatever. Polytheist, okay. What about the Holy Spirit? That's what a lot of people don't understand. They just thought the Holy Spirit was just the energy of God. Is this another being, another person? Well, Jesus talked about him as if he was, or she. I mean, I can rule out the possibility of the Holy Spirit be a woman. I mean, Christian Davidians believe that. But what do I really know? I don't even know what the original pronoun means there. It doesn't even give gender identity. It just... It's like, okay. I don't remember what the pronoun is, but it wasn't gender specific. It was gender neutral. Now, there was something else about, what was it? Oh, the Satan thing. Oh, and by the way, with the Joseph Bates quote, Joseph was talking when he was a child, not a time when he could think in caricatures, not a time when he could think in abstracts, but just literally what he's saying. Being is just a common word. We know that it's not mutually exclusive with the word person. And the ending of the paragraph makes it obvious what he's talking about, but it's just like with a lot of things, people don't want to agree. Well, he mustn't believe that. He must believe this because you make him look bad. Unfortunately, that's probably why it's being interpreted that way. And don't call me uneducated, okay? I don't particularly like those kind of things. The things that are going to interest you, if you actually get them from me, are science textbooks. Yes, I'm a bit of a science geek somewhat, but that's why I'm learning math, because it's the foundation of everything in science. Which means I cannot believe something that is contrary to science, or stand in the way with it, unless it's not real science, which there's a lot of that floats around. There's so many beliefs in there based on what kind of studies you do. Nothing. I just, yes, this cell phone is black, therefore all cell phones are black. Well, that's not going to be helpful anyway. Okay, the Satan thing. Bengali puts up a quote from early writings where Satan was, quote, willing to take his position back. Okay, why was Satan acting like this? Why was he willing? And does that supposedly prove something? What is he trying to say? Well, it became manifest. Well, and then he was willing. It became manifest with jealousy and hatred. That's just the moment. It's like you can be ticked off, and you ticked off in heaven, and then you ticked off again, and then more than likely you can be ticked off tomorrow. And you may be happy tomorrow because someone else is sinning. Like maybe the president goes up there and lies while something, and he sits there and just, I got him lying. That makes me happy. No. That really doesn't prove anything. And the whole willing thing, yeah, he was willing to get out of what he was doing while he's going. But for what reason? Besides, the children of Israel were willing after they had rebelled against God and not willed to take the promised land they had originally were supposed to do. They willed to do it. Now, are they saved? He said you're going to want it 40 years in the wilderness, and they're still going to want it 40 years. And they dropped dead. Every single one in that generation did. So they all died. That's pretty much it. That's it for that video. And Stephen thing, when you go circa, but now when you give it a specific date in 8034, well, that's just time prophecy added together. A day equals a year in Bible prophecy. 70 weeks are determined on the people. Well, after destroying Stephen, the gospel went to the Gentiles. Circumstantial evidence around the time seems to suggest that's probably the ending of it all. Especially when they didn't really care after Stephen anyways. Nobody really spoke to them as much. And if you would go from 437 AD, and then you realize that year zero is an asymptote, and that's a big word you learned from graphing class, means there really is no year zero. Yeah, I'd want to. And that makes 8034 the ending of the 70-week prophecy. It's not hard to figure out, so that's 8034. There you go. But to say no one else, and you go circa thing, well, if there are other people out there online who have actually researched this, please pull some quotes outside of the Bible to show that Stephen died in 8034, close to it, but nothing else is contradicting and saying affirmative that Stephen died in 8075, it's right off the wall, about 8027 or something. It doesn't really matter anyways. I have something to say. Well, yeah, I was going to say, I'm not nearly as old as Bengali or Labaram. I can attest to that. When they're saying that I don't know what I'm talking about, I haven't read a whole lot of Greek philosophy stuff, well, you're right. I don't read any of that stuff. I find it kind of boring and off the wall. Honestly, I don't care for mythical stuff. I care more about logical, scientific evidence. I believe in God because, first of all, I would be dead today. But not. But that's a long story. And, I mean, you can see the absence of gray hair and wrinkles in this video that I'm not nearly seeing. But, I don't want to say anything that sounds offensive to people, but I've seen some of the videos where I actually get to see what Bengali looks like, and he does have a lot of gray hair. Does that make him wise? Well, a lot of old people just get cranky and they don't accept other viewpoints and have their minds open for anything new. You get people who went around and say SGAs are evil, and I'm like, okay, why do you think they're evil? And there really is no logic to it. Usually it has to do with some kind of varying viewpoint or some kind of doctrine that doesn't make sense. And if you're thinking about tying me up or a noose or something and burning me at the stake, then you've got a problem. And there's a lot of things about the Roman Catholic Church. I'm going to say Roman Catholic because it does exist, and like what Bengali says, they do exist. That's what their name is. Wikipedia says that, and Britannica both say that. So. But a lot of people died because they didn't believe in transubstantiation. It's not literally blood of Christ, it's just a figure of symbolism. But that's what Jesus meant. The Old Testament said you're not supposed to eat human flesh or drink blood. So what is he doing right here? No, he's being metaphorical. But see how they lack the insight to understand that, so they want to believe it's literally his body and blood. No, I don't believe that. Neither did Hugh Lattimore and got him burned to death. This is Book 777. Hugh Lattimore, John Huss, Jerome, John Leaf, a bunch of others. Read Fox's Book of Martyrs. You know about the Catholic Church after that. Good night.